when you go into a place like the Dry Bar and you play records for 5 hours that people haven't heard before, but they're all good, and they're enjoying it, and it's giving them a completely unexpected new experience that they thought they would never otherwise have got. It suddenly becomes like a wonder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a buzz. It's a buzz, isn't it? I always say buzz. Again, I think we're belittling everything. The emotional drive, it's like a sex drive, isn't it? The ego is driven. Everything is being driven. And therefore, if it's being driven, to quote Alan Watt, where's it going? Does it know its final destination? Or is it without a compass, without a rudderless ship, aimlessly drifting and feeling very accomplished in itself that so much distance has been covered and everybody seems to be enjoying the voyage? However, not seeing the rocks and not seeing the dangers, it's surely a matter of luck or time before some disaster occurs.
Mm-hmm.
If the watchman seeth the danger and does not warn the people, does not the burden fall upon his shoulders? Which is the same as saying, am I my brother's keeper?
Well, it comes with responsibility, and that's what I'm finding out.
This is what it is. It's all key.
And the weight of the responsibility is to make it continue, basically. You can see it's a good thing.
Humanity is a great thing, man. Being alive is a great thing. That is the greatest gift ever. If there was ever a gift you had to give anybody, here, have some life. Wow!
And I probably see more like genuine, happy reactions from people than most of these people get to see all week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just in the course of that.
The joy of living.
Because people respond in a way that it's happiness. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow.
You see, the music you play, man, that's what it does. The music you play when you're DJing, when you're in the moment, it's like you wish people could get the enjoyment you're getting just from playing them records. You know that. But then to actually see it manifest is an entirely different experience.
It's incredible. It's incredible. It's like watching the best movie and it goes on for fucking ages and you're in control of it.
You're in it. You're the director, the author, the actor, the special effects guy. All of it. Humanity is the experience that we want to be a part of, and we don't want to be separated. And as much as people see, the government or whatever, they're the enemy. No. We've separated ourselves too much. It's time to clear the mud from our eyes, and take the beam out of our own eyes, looking at splinters in other people all the time. I'm not saying the wrong hasn't been done. Of course, there's loads of wrong been done. But let's put everything into perspective and in its right place. So if, for example, Israel's been bombing, the children of Gaza, then the same said people are directly responsible. But let's not say everybody in the world or everybody that lives in Israel is responsible for that, because they're not. We know how things happen. It's the same like in England when the Iraq War was going on. Everyone in England was not responsible for that. I certainly didn't want it to be happening, but what could we do at that time? I was a young boy. You know what I mean? The best thing I suppose we did was not join the fight.
There was a lot of people who went on marches and that during that time.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I remember.
And it was like, well, what else can you do, kind of thing. But it was just like, well, what else can you do?
When the human race starts to see a lot of war, they have to start now asking themselves the question: what's happening in the world? What's happening in the world? Why have we got to this? It's a breakdown in relationships. It's a breakdown in understanding or overstanding. Breakdown in sympathy. Breakdown in the good and righteous emotions and the joy of giving. The joy of giving. So it's so powerful, man. That needs to be the thing. And we do live in a planet of abundance, but we're confused. We create this tool of money, and money's become the god.
That was why I wanted to go into teaching, because I thought I'd enjoy it, because it'd be like, giving something of yourself all the time to benefit of others. But it's just like, it didn't quite work out like that. Times when they learn the most. And if you create that vibe, that's when people do. Because when people are enjoying themselves, that's when they respond the best. And they learn the most, because it's like you're in the moment and it means something. It's got an emotional, physical attachment to them. Like it's.
So now we recognise that learning and emotion are key. Just like you've got muscle memory. Muscle memory and actual memory go together. But if that's true, and also emotional memory goes together, when you have all three, the trinity of learning, there is a more productive learning going on. There is an exponential learning experience, a shared experience, and even greater than that, almost an expression of love. And this is where I'm saying, when the government is taking over education so much that at 2 they expect children to be going to a stranger, as opposed to the parent who already naturally has that energy and that focus of love for the child.
And no one's putting up a fucking, no one's saying that it's not, or acting like it's not. Everyone's just going along with it.
For the sake of money. Yeah. For the sake of paying bills and, not putting on the brakes and going, whoa, wait a minute, government, you answered to us. So this is exactly how it's going to go from now on.
And it's going to create so many fucking just weirdnesses in society. Like, it's like...
Yeah, it's going to cause psychological disturbances, and that'll become the norm. People have these strange expectations, as I've seen in life, and it's like, that's just weird. Why are you like that? Whoa.
Well, I was thinking about
vile
that the other day.
characters.
It's like, is it an irony that the main prison in the centre of Manchester is called Strange Ways?
Yeah,
isn't that a bit of a clue that, like, if your ways are that strange, that's where you're going to end up?
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, what is strange about it? But I mean, I don't know.
No, it's an interesting point. It's an interesting point, because everything about our language is mystical. Just because others don't get it doesn't mean we don't get it. I know exactly what you're talking about, man. You've made a very astute point, and that's why these parables, these messages, to me, there's messages like that in the Bible. It's abundant throughout the Bible. There's so much that was written about. Wow. Just reading it and accepting that it was written, and that if you want to learn about it, it's right there to be read. That's all it is. You can give it any kind of meaning you want to give it.
So what about all this business about standing up for your rights and stuff like that? I mean, what does that actually involve, really, at the end of the day? Because at the end of the day, standing up for your rights shouldn't really cost you anything. And it shouldn't really
learn about them.
You shouldn't have to go out of your way too much to know what they are, because...
Well, some would say those that are charging, to go around and talk about your rights are calling in the people. But what I would say is, if it takes somebody with a conscience, because first of all, they've got a conscience, they want to teach people the right things, so that's good. But they're actually going out of their way and spending their time to do that for others and travelling up and down. It costs money to do that, yeah? And it's taking time. And since we know that, if you don't have no money in this society, woe betide. You're going to be dead in no time. You'll be in the strange ways in no time. So it's easier sometimes to, as it were, toe the line and make your money than it is to invent some brand new system of living and living in the woods off berries and wiping your arse with leaves.
Isn't that what most people are doing these days, especially when you see it in music? I see it in music. It's like how look, bands seem to be saying, look at how good we are at towing the line.
Yeah, and then others are saying, how dare you sell your soul? But this is the irony of our existence. You're telling people with no remedy except for money. Don't live with your money. Don't do that. Money's corrupt. And yeah, I feel like that, but here I am, taking money out of my pocket to go and buy things. How does that equate? Well, I'll liken it to this. We don't want to kill animals, but when we eat the meat, we're killing animals. So, like the ancestors, you can give reverence to the fact that this is necessary. Because if that doesn't happen, we would starve. But they give their appreciation to the fact that this has happened. You know, they give some degree of thought to it, and therefore they're humbling themselves to the balance of life and recognizing that everything has a purpose.
Oh shit! Well, my life's unbalanced, that's for sure.
We all are. That's why we're even talking about it.
Oh.
Otherwise, you just know, man. You just get on with everything. They asked somebody a question one time, said, how much money would you need in order that you don't need any friends and you don't need any family and you don't need anything? And they come up with this crazy figure like $500,000. I think that is, it's too little for a start, but then there's just no amount of money that can ever give you that experience of having friends, of having family. You know what I mean? Spending the rest of your life alone. Oh, you got $500,000. Obviously they didn't even think about inflation, did they? They're doubling. $500,000's nothing really, unless you're going to invest it all, and even then, your life would be full of zero experience. The only experience would be spending money and seeing these other human beings. You know, no connections. If you don't connect with something emotionally, well, what is its purpose? What is the meaning?
Well, I tend not to sort of throw on stuff that doesn't connect.
Mm.
You know, and like, I have this problem with relationships with girls. You know what I mean? I connect on some level with them.
Mm.
And usually it's just that I like them, you know what I mean? It's like I just like them.
Yeah.
Because they're
Nice people.
It's nice, do you know what I mean? And
yeah, it's nice to be nice.
I don't want to be around them because of that.
Yeah.
And then some other reason that totally has got nothing to do with anything that I'm about.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why, you know what I mean? And usually all it is really is
Yeah, but again, you see all of that, what is that based on? Because I believe for a lot of girls, it's the same reasoning, you know, men are into, you got to have the most girls, the most cars, the most money, and the most mates. And it's the same with girls, they've got to have the most friends, liked by the most boys, etc., etc. And then there's certain standards we give ourselves that are probably way, way, way above what real life is going to give us. But again, that's a delusion based on the fiction. When we see someone like Angelina Jolie or whoever, you know, getting her kit off, I think, oh, you know, she's nice. Teenage fantasy or whatever it is for young girls. And that all changes as you get older and you get realistic and you think, well, actually, look at them now, man. They look haggard, you know, they're old. They're just normal people.
What are you talking about when you turn into a dirty old man?
No.
This is where I am, you know, this is where
You're not a dirty old man.
This is where
Don't say that about yourself, man. That's not true. You're still a young man. The thing is, there's a lot of girls in this society that are just not right in the head. It's as simple as that. And I'm picky and choosy, and I know you're picky and choosy, just like you pick and choose your records. You pick and choose the girls, and you know, say there's something about them that isn't always right either.